Atlanta's streets are busier than ever, and the rivalry between Rashida and Yandy isn't the only thing producing mayhem. When fans learn that Mendeecees has been affected by the repercussions, they are shocked. According to recent rumors, Mendeecees is enraged by Kirk Frost's passionate threat against Yandy and is prepared to intervene and defend his wife in a way that might completely destroy the hip-hop and love scenes. Fans are asking the same thing. Blogs are flourishing and social media is on fire. What happens when a two-guy feud spirals out of control? Insiders say that Yui wasn't the only person who was alarmed by Kirk's warning. It ignited a fire inside Mendeecees that he is unwilling to extinguish. Is this just more smoke to stir things up? Or is it the beginning of a fresh battle that further entangles families in the drama? There is undoubtedly a great deal of tension, and everyone is curious about Mendeecees' actions now that his wife has been caught in the crossfire. This story is about to get unpleasant, so fasten your seatbelt. When word got out about Kirk's warning to Yandy, it spread more quickly than anybody could have imagined. The video was repeatedly seen by fans. One name, Mendeecees, began to trend alongside it amid all the pandemonium when it was published as a headline on blogs. Everyone was curious about his feelings and reaction when he saw his wife standing side by side with Rashida and then being taken aback by Kirk's rage. His camp's silence merely heightened interest, and over time, the rumors intensified. There were rumors that Mendeecees was furious when he heard the video. He was pacing the floor and shaking his head, appalled that Kirk would ever consider going too far, according to family insiders. He said, "That man better stay in his lane because he threatens me as soon as he threatens my wife," according to a source. Fans were enthralled, picturing the composed yet restrained spouse prepared to reveal a side never seen on screen. But the story didn't end there. According to rumors, Mendeecees made contact with Kirk's close friends and family to let them know he wouldn't be ignoring the issue. A battle between two ladies was replaced as the dynamic that may affect the season's conclusion with an impending dispute between two husbands. It held additional weight due to the familial component. This was pride and defense, not merely gossip or shadow. Caught in the middle, Rashida apparently attempted to minimize the problem behind closed doors by claiming that Kirk's remarks were made out of emotion and weren't intended to exacerbate the situation. Fans, however, didn't accept it. Kirk's clenched fists, his voice cracking with repressed anger, and Rita's fingers gripping his arm as though she knew he was going to do something he couldn't erase, all sent conflicting messages. However, Yandy wasn't overlooking the event. She added gasoline to the flames in her own quiet way. She was quite clear that she wasn't afraid, that no threat could stop her, and that Kirk had just been there to emphasize her point. The more she talked, the more it seemed like a cry to action for Mendeecees to intervene and let everyone know that she wasn't alone. "I have people on my side," she calmly but confidently informed the audience during a live performance. And everyone was aware of the person she was talking about. This was overstated by the blogosphere. Are the DC lads prepared to stand up for Yandy against Kirk Frost? One headline shouted. Another claims that family disputes get quite serious. It didn't really matter anymore if the stories were genuine or not. The impression was sufficient. Fans began wondering about what would happen if Kirk and Mendeecees, two men known for their composed demeanor, actually lost control. According to certain supporters, Mendeecees has consistently remained composed and steered clear of needless controversy. The rumors became much more startling as a result. It was worse than anybody could have imagined if a man who normally kept his cool was suddenly ready to face Kirk. And loyalty was valued by others. They valued Mendeecees' willingness to defend his wife, even if it meant arguing with a close friend. There was a lot of conversation. This ain't going to end well. If Kirk thought Rashida was noisy, wait until he sees Mendeecees step in, another admirer commented. As people argued about who was right, who was wrong, and who would win if the men actually engaged in fight, hashtags like Ashner Team Yandy and Tash Team Rashida became viral. The producers were anxious, according to cast friends, because both men had families and reputations to uphold and did not want the dispute to escalate into a physical altercation. But they couldn't overlook the possibility of higher scores. Drama sells poorly. The true concern of everybody was the extent to which men would stray, Would he face Kirk head-on, or would he build tension and bide his time? There was enough tension to keep fans interested in every news update, whispered story, and conjecture about what might happen next. Some said he was already getting ready for a private meeting, while others said he wanted to address it publicly to make it clear that no one could treat his wife disrespectfully without consequences. Many others thought Yandy had always been adept at manipulating the story and had anticipated this response from the beginning, but she appeared nearly composed in spite of everything, as if she knew precisely what she was doing. She had unintentionally put Mendeecees in the spotlight by putting Kirk in the competition, and now the drama's scope had doubled. When more claims surfaced that Mendeecees had actually spoken to Kirk directly, what had started out as a heated argument between the two women turned into a battle of homes, putting both women's marriages to the test in front of millions of viewers. It's unknown what was said in that purported discussion, but the fact that the story has gotten this far indicates how fascinated people were, even when it appeared like the dust could finally settle. Fans continued to speculate. Did Kirk apologize? Did Mendeecees warn him to keep away? Or did what the two men said create a new level of animosity that was poised to explode? Fans couldn't stop guessing about the actual happenings, which heightened the suspense as everyone was left wondering how this narrative would develop. Claims that Kirk and Mendeecees had a private conversation quickly gained traction. While some sources maintained that the conversation took place over the phone, others said that their mutual connections arranged the tense in-person meeting in order to prevent things from getting worse. Whichever version people decide to accept, the murmurs had one thing in common. The Mendeecees took Kirk's warning seriously, and his rage could not be ignored. "You went too far." He allegedly told Kirk, "Say anything you want about me, but you never approach my wife in that manner," in a calm but frightening tone. The voice allegedly replied, "Heat of the moment don't make you threaten a woman," despite Kirk's attempts to dismiss the conversation as unplanned banter. You know that's not male behavior. Social media was inundated with comments from fans who allegedly read the incident's transcript. Mendeecees was hailed by some as the epitome of loyalty for his defense, according to Yandy. One remark that received thousands of likes asserted, "That's what a real husband does," while others countered that Mendeecees was only stoking the flames since Kirk had already reached his breaking point. Another admirer said, "This could have ended quietly, but now it's a whole family war," while Rashida allegedly battled feelings of defensiveness and humiliation. She reportedly told acquaintances that Yandy had been making fun of us for too long and was incensed that Kirk's outburst had brought their marriage back into the public eye and exposed long-standing issues that she had worked hard to resolve. But she continued to defend her husband. "Even though Kirk isn't ideal, no one can condemn him in that way without my help." Her remarks heightened the tension as it became apparent that the dispute wasn't just Kirk versus Mendeecees, but rather a collision of spouses whose marriages were being scrutinized by the public. "Never want to back down from a battle," Yandy said, relishing the drama. She made fun of her audience during a late-night live performance by stating, "All I'll say is, my guy don't play about me." Everyone saw what Kirk said. "And you know Mendeecees ain't the type to sit back quiet," she remarked. Fans went crazy when they saw her sly smirk, and within minutes, hashtags like Shawn Mendeecees fees Kirk and protects Yandy started to trend as people debated whether, or if this fight would indeed get more intense on air. The bloggers even went so far as to illustrate the potential appearance of a confrontation. Kirk appeared anxious at a neighborhood gathering, with some assuming that he was terrified of encountering Mendeecees. Fans have already committed, and a producer who wished to remain anonymous reportedly said that if they film this, the numbers will soar. Others claimed that executives were frantically debating behind the scenes whether to keep the men apart or put them together on camera in order to capture what could be one of the most explosive scenes in the franchise's history. There were predictions on message boards that Kirk would be publicly confronted by male DCs in front of the whole cast, forcing him to own up to his remarks. And fans were enthralled with the suspense as they wondered how far the male DCs would go and if Kirk would stick to his position or compromise. Everyone agreed, and although the men became the subject of conjecture, their families faced equally dire repercussions. The quiet before the storm was only making matters worse, and some thought he had been waiting for the perfect moment to strike when Kirk least anticipated it. Yandy allegedly felt vindicated and told friends she had no regrets about what she said, while others close to Rita claimed she was worn out, unable to maintain her home, and concerned that Kirk's image was once again going astray. "If speaking the truth makes people uncomfortable, that's on them," she allegedly said. She was tired of being the face of damage control all the time, tired of defending him, and tired of being pulled into an issue she didn't cause. "I didn't make Kirk angry. He became angry on his own." Many fans thought that the recent explosion was hinted at by videos of side glances, subtle jabs, and silent shade that went viral online. Others, with their emotions running high, went through earlier episodes, bringing up every dubious incident involving Kirk and Yandy to show how long this enmity had been growing. "This has been simmering for ages," a fan wrote on Twitter. "Then there came the unexpected development, and we just had no idea how deep it was." Rumor had it that Mendeecees wasn't just upset. He was going to do something more than vent his annoyance. According to insiders, he had already told common acquaintances that he wouldn't be going to Kirk's get-togethers, drawing a line that might potentially split the group. The idea of such a split shocked the fan base, with some pleading for reconciliation in the hopes that the guys would work things out before the show turned into a battlefield, while others were yearning for more. If true, this would test alliances and force everyone in Atlanta's close-knit community to take sides. A fan remarked, "To be honest, let them fight, and we chose this drama." Following the comments, many debated whether the franchise should allow that degree of dispute or whether the line had already been set. Guys should handle it the same way women do. Even those who usually remained silent were compelled to speak up due to the extreme strain. One cast member allegedly said, "Sometimes silence ain't strength, it's patience." Additionally, a mysterious online comment states that the real explosions occur when patience runs out. Fans quickly surmised that the debate was about Mendeecees, perceiving it as a sign that things were far from resolved. Every rumor became front-page news, and it became a topic of conversation throughout society. The conflict had evolved beyond a dispute between two families. Fans from all walks of life took sides as if it were a heavyweight boxing match, and the magnitude of the response only served to highlight the significance of this plot and how potently it appealed to themes of pride, loyalty, and the complex relationships between reputation and love. Radio hosts discussed it on morning shows. A private confrontation between Kirk and the Mendeecees had already caused Atlanta to tremble, and everyone was eager to witness the battle that was set in motion, whether it was through his words, deeds, or the silent but potent weight of his presence. Despite all the chaos, one thing was certain: Mendeecees would not ignore Kirk's warning. What transpired next, however, improved the overall story. There were whispers that filmmakers were secretly preparing to film the two guys together because they knew that if the tension exploded in front of millions of people, the numbers would soar. In any case, social media reactions to the idea were immediate, and fans were already preparing for the possibility of a public altercation. Insiders claim that the decision was not made unanimously, with some arguing that the show's media dominance was essential and others worrying that things would go out of control. A fan tweeted, "This is going to be a battle," and it soon went viral. Kirk versus. Another person stated, "Mendeecees is the real main event. Put Rita against Yandy out of your mind." The conflict was no longer perceived by the fan base as a simple disagreement between two women, but rather as a conflict between husbands, marriages, and reputations. The tension increased when Mendeecees himself wrote a subtle post that his followers could instantly relate to, despite the fact that it was indirect and appeared to have a clear meaning. He posted a picture of himself in Yandy with the comment, "Protect what's yours always," which, despite its brief length, said a lot. Fans who saw it as a clear warning to Kirk that boundaries had been crossed and that there would be repercussions showered him with encouraging comments. Kirk remained remarkably silent, but keeping quiet because he knows Mendeecees is coming for him. "He's just letting it blow over," someone another said. Kirk always finds a way to complicate things. Rita, on the other hand, reportedly told a friend, I feel like they're portraying us as villains just for ratings, indicating that she was both annoyed by Mendeecees and Yandy's distortion of the story and tired of constantly cleaning up Kirk's mess. Regardless of the truth, Rita was unable to conceal her annoyance, and the mystery only increased the tension. Our marriage already has problems. We don't need outsiders to exacerbate them. However, Yandy's resistance seemed to strengthen her stance. The cast began to disintegrate almost instantly, with some siding with Kirk and Rashida, claiming that Yandy's constant jokes about marriage and scandals had upset them too much, while others supported Yandy, praising her for her bravery and refusing to back down when Kirk's rage reached deadly proportions. Now that Mendeecees was taking center stage, the argument had grown into something far bigger than she could handle. However, the breakup wasn't silent. Cast members started disparaging one another and posting cryptic remarks online without providing details, which increased conjecture about everyone's positions. Silence, not noise, is the test of loyalty, a cast member remarked. Another post that said, "When you poke a lion, don't cry when it roars," was misinterpreted by many, and fans immediately saw it as a swipe at Kirk, as supporting Kirk's response. As followers examined every word and emoji in an attempt to decipher hidden meanings, every post became into a guessing game. Outside of the broadcast, talk radio hosts, bloggers, and even relationship specialists expressed their opinions about the conflict, using it as a case study on pride, masculinity, and marriage dynamics. One commenter emphasized that it's not only about Kirk and Yandy, it's about two houses, two families, and what happens when boundaries are crossed on national television. The conversation, which expanded the story's audience and made it a cultural talking point for people who weren't even regular viewers, led to the most shocking accusation of all, according to multiple sources. Mendeecees had previously informed producers that he wouldn't be ready to film with Kirk unless certain conditions were met. He wanted Kirk to publicly admit that threatening Yandy had been inappropriate. The internet was incensed at the notion of such limitations, and some said he had requested an apology via video. One fan said, "Kirk looks weak if he apologizes. If he doesn't, Mendeecees will pull him indefinitely, just like in a championship match." Observers took sides in the numerous discussions that ensued after the speculation, and Yandy fueled the flames with her own nuanced remarks. At a recent event, she told a crowd of admirers, "I don't fight my battles alone. It's one thing to argue with me, but it's another thing to threaten me." To put it briefly, the audience applauded, taking her remarks to mean that the Mendeecees were prepared to enter the ring, and they began to envision the actual battle. Fake posters for Kirk versus Mendeecees: The Battle of Atlanta were made, and memes swept over timelines as the feud intensified. The story became an online spectacle as gifs of boxing bouts, wrestling movies, and dramatic stare-downs were shared thousands of times. People who weren't fans of hip-hop and romance couldn't help but join in on the discussion, eager to see if the drama